Welcome back to Vice Grip Garage. A while back, a guy bought this vintage John Deere M tractor on the line, sight unseen. Just called up the old boy and said I'd take it. Went and picked it up, dropped it off here in the trees, and it's been sitting since. All I know is parts are missing, and I was told it hasn't run in 10 to 15 years or so. So I'm gonna try to get this thing fired up and drive it out of the tree row here. But first thing is first, we gotta build a fire. Unseasonably cold here in Tennessee, and truth went on ahead and be told, feels like home up north. It's just under 0 degrees is the feels like temperature. Supposed to get another 4 inches of snow today. And that brings me to why we're gonna build a fire. Some of you are probably like, what's fire have to do with anything? Well, a few things. If this engine isn't stuck, if it turns over and we figure out fuel and ignition, there ain't no way we're pull starting this thing today. Not gonna happen. With the snow, we're not gonna have enough traction, tires are just gonna skid. So we're gonna do what the old timers did back in the day. They had all these big John Deere tractors and heavy equipment. They were absolutely impossible to start in the winter. A lot of them were hand crank. You had a big wheel back here and you'd have to throw this thing, have everything perfectly dialed to even have a shot. So what they do is actually build a small fire under the belly of these things, heat the blocks up, give them the best possible chance of firing these things off. We're gonna do the same thing, just like back in the day. A couple other reasons. Already can't feel my hands. We're gonna need these. You know what I mean? So we can be warm in our hands, working on the machine. And lastly, we can just burn it down if we get to that point. You know what I mean? I got my boys helping today. I'm gonna send them off, gather up some dry, older timber, snap it all up. We're gonna make a little fire under this thing. So I got Bentley, my youngest, and Bradley, my oldest, back here. We're down in the trees with the side-by-side. It's the only thing we can get down here with. And we got just a little toolbox, a couple fluids, a couple small parts. That's pretty much it. We're gonna be using this as a fire ring. This is just a cheap little inset for like dually tires. You just snap them in, and it's small enough and completely contained. We could just throw this under the belly and make a little fire. So you guys want to run off with the Sawzall and just get a bunch of small little sticks, bring them all back and get us a good enough pile that we can try to keep warm for the entire day. It's supposed to get colder and more snow. Right. Well, I'll take this. You take the side or the Sawzall. Be safe. They're about 100 yards down in the trees there. I can hear them out there just snapping sticks. While they're doing that, I think we should go ahead and just walk around this thing. See what's missing, see what we could find or scrounge up. A lot of this stuff I'm not gonna be able to get, I can tell you right now. Like a fuel make it happen kit, but I've got a couple miscellaneous ones in the barn. Don't know if they're gonna work or not, but let's walk around this thing, check this thing out. It was sold as a 49. We can also figure that out if it is in fact a 49. Should get this capped off. My can done blued off. Who knows how long ago. See what we're up against today. So again, this is a little M. The MT would be a tricycle or have the wheels in the center here. This was a, basic utility or crop row tractor back then. So the front here, you'd be able to adjust it, narrow it or widen it, whatever you need for your particular crop. This one's got an intact hood, which is nice. Front's a little beat up, but some of this will come right back out of it, No idea what the tires are doing. I'm sure they're flat. It's had a 12-volt conversion on it and some expert wiring. Did I work on this? I might have. Yeah, confirmed. I don't know. The head's on it. That's nice. Lightning whirlers there. Fan belt, fan. I had never really looked at this thing. We pulled up in front of this old barn. It was kind of sunk in the ground. We just hooked a hinge on it, pulled it on the trailer, and brought it home. This tire looks newish. This old timer, he wanted to fart around with it, but I think it was just a little too much for him. It's got a 3-point. Be nice if that worked. It's already got the adapter on it there. If I remember right, this seat is shot. Yeah, see, only half of it's upholstered. Some sort of homemade step. So you can climb up this, jump on in the tractor there. So up here we'd have radiator, oil fill, breather, of course exhaust here. Fuel would be a little bit more on that side. We'll look at the top here in a minute. We got a Marvel Schnaubler. Fuel making happener. Intake tube is completely just rotted off on that. Not a huge ordeal. Sediment bowl, well, it's got a lot of sediment, that's for sure. Battery tray is gone. Battery's gone. We got a red SAD cable. More evidence I worked on this. That'll work. Biggest problem that I initially saw when I glanced at this rig was the starter was missing. Just completely gone. And I happened to go ahead and order one of those, I don't know when that was, a month ago. So I have a used, new to me starter that's supposed to fit this M and various other models. I hope that's the case. How you guys make out?
Pretty good. I think we got enough wood for now, so we're gonna head back, and then if we need any more, we'll come back down here and get some.
All right, there's a lot of fallen trees from that last storm, huh?
Yeah.
That one's pretty dry too. All right, cool. Follow you guys. Make a nice path for me. Get some of this off here. So again, the cap's missing. She is full of snow. Hopefully that was drained at some point. We don't need anything cracked or broken. Here's the oil fill. Cap still on that. Back here is the gas tank. Has a can on it. This is that old timer's can. Old Dr. Pepper. I wonder if it's got a date on it. May 29th, 2013. Processing. 11 years? Yeah, that's right on the timeline. Hello? Hello? Nothing in there. It smells very varnishy. So that's good. Put that back on there. See these mounts? Right here. There's one over here too. We got them on the sides. Talking about these guys. Right here and here. That's probably a belly mower. Probably had a mower on it at some point, but let's go ahead and look at the serial number back here. And we can determine what year this bad boy is. So this is original or correct. You got the water temp gauge over top of the Empresses. That looks like an original gauge. That's been replaced. This would be the choke. This would be the starter actuator or armature. And then this has been changed. This is just a cheesy on-off switch. Normally it's a big knob. And I believe it was ignition low light, ignition high, ignition off lights. And then down here is the serial number. This one is 5285. So I could tell you immediately that's a 52. Not a, I believe they thought it was a 49. But this is in fact a 1952 John Deere M tractor. Let's see. So this would be our Touch-O-Matic right here. This would be our 3-point control. Hopefully that works. This would be a cute little tractor if we could pull a hay rake or something like that with it. And we've got PTO right here, which is tight but moving. And then of course our gear shift. I'm not going to pop it out of gear. It's kind of hard to tell, but we're on a pretty good incline. We should get a block of wood if we run up to the shop.
There's one down in the forest.
Is there?
Yeah.
Will you run and grab that, please? So this bad boy don't roll away on us. Then of course you got clutch over there, independent braking over here, or you just stomp on both of them. But this tire, that one looked new when we were walking around it, but this one looks older. She's a BF Good Rich Power Grip. Hopefully it holds there. So I think all we're missing really is that starter. But there's going to be an issue with that here in a minute. I just realized. Yeah, it's not in there. Great. Why don't we get this little fire going and get our gloves dried up. Start warming this thing up just in case. Going to start with the starter. Get a battery in this thing somehow. And make sure it turns over. Oh, look. Maybe. It is. There's the battery plate. Gloves are sticking to everything. So yeah, let's see if we get this thing to spin over first and foremost. I don't know how long my pop can's been off the muffler. Could be full of water. Hopefully not. If it's stuck, we're really going to have to get after this thing. We might go ahead and try to take these tins off, potentially. Some of this hardware is really hard to turn. And then we'll move on to fuel and spark. Boys found a nice sized block. Was that on the side of the hayfield?
Yeah, whenever I'm riding, I'll see it drive by it every time.
Nice. All right, throw that under there. Slide it under the oil drain plug, basically. Now you can see, boys, we can't do a big fire. We don't want the flames actually licking the oil pan. So, nice, little, short. Any sort of heat out here, it's -5, is going to help this thing. Just going to try to get it warm to touch, and we'll see that if a lot of the snow starts melting off in there. Now, talking about the issue I figured out earlier, over here, I've got that used starter, but it's missing this starter bolt. This is a big pin, essentially, that goes through this casing and then actually sticks right into the starter housing, and it does a couple things. Obviously it holds the starter in here, but it's also the ground. So it's grounding the casing through these threads, and then there's a big lock nut that goes onto that as well. Not easy to find. We're probably going to have to try to make something. Got teeth on it still. That's good. That's probably plenty, boys. Get going. Yeah, let's just get some. There you go. A couple smaller sticks. Boy, it's really coming on for Tennessee. We just cleaned this off. There you go. All right, get some more of those dry sticks in here. Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's what ex-wives say. There we go. Let that get, once it gets a little hotter, we could start putting some of the more wet stuff in there, but about an hour that'll be ripping pretty good. So let's go ahead and test fit this old starter I've got. Well, new to me anyway. Make sure it fits in here and looks correct. And then we're gonna have to figure out something for the pin here to even hold that in before we start trying to wire it in. So here's the starter I got. Big old hefty guy. So remember that pin I was just talking about? This is the collar, these two worn areas, that sits in that housing, and that keeps it in the correct orientation this way. This hole right here, and this slides in, that pin has a pointed tip on it, and it slides into that and makes sure that this is clocked correctly this way, and like I say, also grounds it. And then this is the armature here, so when you pull that rod, it's moving that. Looks correct. Let me just make sure it slides in here. Oh, it's getting nice and warm down here.
Yeah, it is.
Nice. Yeah, see that hole in there, bud?
Yep.
So that's that pin.
That slides through.
Yeah, and this lines up correctly.
Looks like it's a little bent.
Yeah, maybe that end needs a little. I wonder if I could just bend it like that.
Pliers will probably do it.
So it looks like it's going to fit. Everything lines up there. Rod even fits, so it definitely is from an M. And I think there's some other series. I just don't know. One of you out there does, and you can bleep bloop it down in the comments if you want. Okay. So I believe this is a weird thread like UPC or something. It's coarse thread. Let's just call it coarse thread. I think it's a 5/8, or that's what it looks like. So let me dig through the bolt bucket on the side-by-side, see if I can find a bolt, make sure it fits. We'll probably have to run up to the shop and try to make our own pin to hold this thing in place. This is what I found. Come on. Maybe? Yeah, there we go.
That's perfect.
Okay, so that's the right size. But now, the challenge is going to be, well, we'll just take a flap disc, what do you think, and just make this a point.
Yeah, probably the easiest way.
And then it's got to have enough threads to maybe run a nut on there. It's about probably 1.5 inches. Okay, so let's run up to the shop, see if we can make something quick, hold this in. Bentley's on Operation Glove, trying to dry them up. I am on starter bolt. Ooh, see, like this one right here will have the length, but we can run a nut, a jam nut on here. So this is going to be our stud, I guess, or bolt, and then our nut. But I'm going to take the end here and just put a flap disc on the death machine there and whip, try to make that more into a point, and that should work just fine. Well, it's not perfect, but I think it's going to work as long as I can still get it to thread in. I got a pretty clean thread there that should run around, so let's run back down and see if that fits, huh?
Yep.
Made it back to the tractor. Bradley's been keeping watch. I think we're going to call him the official block heater, and it's working. See all of the moisture, snow's melting off. Going to thin this oil up in here. We just got to make sure that's about max. We want to go on the flames because we don't want it to be licking the pan. But anywho's, let's see if this is going to work. It's threading. Should touch the starter any second. There we go. See the starter move? So it just kind of indexed it there. So we'll get some tools. Bentley, you want to back the side-by-side up into here? Yeah, so we're not having to walk up the hill. We'll tighten this into place. Finally, step one done. This is the oil pressure. It's an original gauge. See the John Deere in there? That's pretty cool. Ooh, that feels nice. Throw this battery in, then we can figure out where we want to run our cables, whatnot. There we go.
Yeah, I think this cable.
That's the sad cable. Put it on.
Yeah.
Or should we put the new one on?
I'd put the new one on. It does not look that good. It's all winded up here.
Okay. So they just got that run right to the body here. So I think we'll probably do the same. You want to pull that battery back out? Bradley, don't be weird. So I got it grounded up in here, but look at this cable. It's almost snapped off actually. And this doesn't look too hot either. So I'm gonna try to get this off. And I think I got a new sad cable.
Okay, we got new cables here.
You want to open them up?
Yep.
Thanks, buddy. Everything out here is just absolutely froze. We've wiped this off, I don't know, 15 times. There's another inch on it.
Yeah, where do I just set this? I'll set right there.
This is pretty wild for Tennessee.
This is our snow scooper.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think that was a 1/2 inch. All right, that was junk. New sad cable going on. These old starters, the ground is so important. Give her another crank until something pops in your back. There you go. Okay, now this guy. Oh no. Never see that again. Oh, found it. Woo! Cold. Okay. Now we'll run this one right up to this lug right there on the starter. And that's as easy as it gets for the starting system. All right, you want to hook this onto here just so it's facing down like that. Just, oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Just don't lose this washer or that nut, or you'll be walking home. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. I'll bring you a bike or something. Okay, this one we don't want to over tighten it too much because they're a little fragile, these little switches. Should be able to throw the battery in now, and then we'll be able to pull that starter rod, see if this thing cranks over. Meanwhile, the engine's doing pretty good. Our block heater it's getting there. We might have to lick the flames up a little bit. Let me see that ranch dressing. Okay, put that back in the cool box. Did bring a new battery, believe it or not, because it's already cold out, and there's a very good chance we're going to be cranking on this thing for a long time. You want to grab a 1/2 inch?
1/2 inch?
Yeah.
Wrench or socket?
Open and wrench. I'm assuming this other red wire, something to do with lights or gauges. Actually, there's no lights on here. You want to try to tighten these?
Yeah. Tighten both of them?
Yeah, both of them. Just remember,
Don't touch the two.
the two, or on this side, you don't want the wrench to touch the metal, the tractor, because it'll spark on you. So I'm actually going to pull these sparkulators out. There's a really good chance there's water in it. And if we bump the starter and it wants to rotate, I'm going to stop. We'll probably put some Marvel mystery oil in it. I don't know what's in it. It's a mystery. Let that sit for a minute. We can warm back up again. And then we'll probably rotate it with that mystery oil on there, lubricate it up a little bit. See if we can even build a little bit of oil pressure. And if all goes well there, then we'll move on to spark, which I'm assuming the points are shot or need filed at minimum. And then fuel. Almost got it?
This thing's just spinning the bolt.
Oh, you might need a plier on the... Try that. There, you got it. It's so cold, it's just quiet out here.
I can't even feel my fingers, so I don't even know what I'm doing right now.
Good job, Bradley. We're getting heat all the way up through the hood. It's starting to steam a little bit.
I can't even get this.
I had to like twist it weird. We just don't want to pull the rod on accident because it might try to... I'll get it in a second. Well, a guy and two little guys got to get the sparkulators out of this Deere. See what's going on. My youngest human I'm responsible for, Bentley, will tackle that, while my oldest Bradley there is trying to gather up some firewood for us, keep us warm and get this Deere melting. We're going to see what kind of condition these are in. Tell us a lot about this engine here. See if there's any mechanical damage or anything like that. And here we're seeing very fouled. She's richer than Elon, and I ain't kidding you. Bentley's pointing out, he said, Dad, this one's different. Well, sometimes they're a different heat range. We don't want any water in here, that ain't gonna compress. We'll have parts scattering all over. Rapid unscheduled disassembly. But we'll get this one out here and take a look at it as well. Brad's got that fire ripping down there. Got to be a little careful to get too high. Yeah, we got an NGK and an AC Delco. That one don't look good either. Really no rhyme or reason for that. Unless, like I say, one cylinder might need to burn hotter than another. We don't know, but these are going to have to be swapped out either way. Bentley's figured out how to cook his hands, apparently. Medium well. Well, it's time a guy and a couple little guys see if this thing is actually going to turn over. A little nervous this thing's locked up, to be honest. It's been sitting for more than a decade in conditions like this. Checking to make sure this thing's in neutral. It's not a good idea to try to start these rigs in front of these rear tires. But we're going to do it anyway. You know, maybe I'll lean over here. Here we go. Yep. Oh, spinning. Oh, there we go. We got some water coming out. Yep. Yep. A little bit of moisture condensation, but it's spinning.
No.
Bentley's pointing out here that, yeah, we had some stuff shooting out. Here I can look way back in there and it looks pretty good. I also didn't notice anything shooting out the muffler. So it wasn't too terribly bad, to be honest. I think what we're going to do is grab that Marvel mystery oil over there. What's in mystery oil? I don't know. In here? No, the mystery oil. Yeah, I don't know either. But let's put some down in here with the funnel. Let it soak, you know. And we'll see if that'll get her some lubrication or whatnot. But man, that's good news. I was really nervous this thing was going to be locked up tighter than county jail. Oh, funnel's full of snow. Well, let's cook that, I guess. About here is where I said, hey boys, we should maybe get some venison or something. Maybe some sausages. Cook some dinner, you know. Which Bentley quickly said marshmallows. You know, marshmallows. No, we need some meat, some carbs. That'll probably work. Let's get some Mr. Oil, pour it in this thing. All right, see if that one will go in there.
Oh, no, it's too big.
Oh yeah, it's just gonna run out. We need the one with the straw thing on the bottom.
I think it's in our paint cabinet.
All right.
Oil cabinet.
Brad, you keep this thing cooking. We're going to run up to the shop and get a different funnel, okay? All right. You're doing good. It's starting to heat up.
Bring back some marshmallows.
On our way back with the funnel.
I think it's in there.
Yeah, looks better. Don't need a ton, just...
Get them a little lubed.
Yep. Okay, switch to the other. This is a funnel I made for the Hemi half pickup to fit the transmission filler tube neck thing. There we go. Cylinders are flat, so I mean it should go all the way around the piston.
Starting to leak a little bit.
Alright, let that sit for a minute. Check the oil. Says we gotta add a quart. Doesn't quite want to drip, but it is a lot runnier than it would be. Oh yeah, it's rolling around the stick here. So that's good. So while we're letting it cook on the mixture oil, I think I'm going to go ahead and start looking at the fuel system. Going to have to be a little bit more careful than usual, since, you know, there's that right there, but that's full of gunk. Gasket's still in there, so that's good.
Is it clean?
Bone dry, obviously. I want to flush this, but we got to be really careful not to
Get it in there.
get it in there. So we might have to find a bucket or a pail or something, or even a funnel into a bucket.
Yeah, we could just use a funnel and dump it outside or something.
Well, just don't want to get it too close.
I
Things
think
will
I
get.
know. I think something we can do.
Riley's off. He says he might know something. Clean this up with some brake cleaner, and then I just want to put a shot of fuel in here and just flush that really quick. Make sure it flows, and then nothing in here is stuck up. And we might even crack it here. You want to get a 1/2 inch,
Happy.
and we'll crack it here, flush this line out. I'm sure we're going to have to dig into this, but maybe we'll just try it. I don't know. Can a guy get that lucky? Doubtful. Very. You want to take this off, bud?
Yeah.
There you go. You can take it off here, and here, and then we'll just spray some carb cleaner through it or something. I'll go clean this while you do that.
Alright. So easy.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. That's clean.
Okay.
This I'm going to have to let sit for a minute. So here's the plan. Don't have one. I just threw some of this True Fuel into the tank here, which has a little bit of 2-stroke oil in it. Again, just to further lubricate needle and seat in the engine. I was just explaining to my boys that when it comes to gasoline, the fumes are even more dangerous than the liquid form, and this could easily jump. So I'm going to have them back off, and what I'm going to do is try to flush the tank through the funnel into my water cooler, which apparently you guys found in the forest out here.
Yeah.
And then if it looks decent and doesn't have a bunch of rust and stuff in it, then I'll just clean the sediment bowl, put it back in, hook the line in, which we just cleaned. I might fill this up if I can. And then we're going to use that as fuel for the fire. And then the boys are going to put their sticks into the cooler and cover it, because now we're having an issue. It's snowing so quickly that we can't keep our dry wood dry anymore. So that's a thing. So if you guys want to step back, I'll see if I can flush this out. You guys having fun?
Yes.
Nice. Now that we got a little bit of fuel in here, guys, gonna see if we can get some out of this tank, see if it's plugged, and then also what we're getting out. Hopefully not just a bunch of rust. Right into the water pail here. Crack this valve open. Hey, it's flowing. That's good. And hey, I'm not seeing a bunch of rust particles or chunks or anything in here. That's great news. Still looks great. Close this valve back down here. Well, now a guy can come back and pour a few gallons of real fuel in here. This here is a gravity-fed fuel system. The carburetor on the bottom, it's an updraft carb, so it relies on vacuum, which is different than the carbs on top. Well, I guess that's gravity and vacuum too, but listen, they're different, kind of. This is different than this. It's differenter. Okay, this is an updraft carb. Okay, now we can pour a few gallons of real gas in here. Have the boys come over and warm up by our fire. That's been making a difference. Mom's got you guys wrapped up like Ralphie's brother. All right, here. Bentley's asking me why it's so smoky and it comes this way. Trying to explain how bigger a feller gets, the smoke's gonna come after you because you're creating a low pressure area. And that's where that smoke wants to travel, so I sent them to the other side here. Gonna throw some fresh fuel in, and by fresh I mean from the lawnmowers last year. But it'll run. Having the boys back up here in case I do what I usually do, which is spill 96.37% of this can right into that fire. That probably wouldn't be good. All these trees would be burnt down. You know what I mean? Here we're talking about the snowfall and how odd it is for this much snow to fall in the south, but it's just been one of those winters. We've had this on and off for a few days now, actually. Boys are doing a good job keeping the fire stoked, keeping us warm, and we can already feel this tractor. You can see the snow melting when it hits it, and the engine's starting to heat up. That's going to be very helpful trying to get this thing to bang off here in a bit, hopefully anyway. You know, these were made in 47 to 52, and they were a really popular ranch and farm tractor. And if you didn't see this model here, you'd probably see the Ford 8N, which was built around the same time, same era anyway. This is an old Johnny Popper. It's a 2-cylinder, I called it a square bore. It's a 4-inch bore and a 4-inch stroke. These made about, 20, 22 horsepower, similar back there at the PTO. And the Ford 4-cylinder made around the same horsepower, maybe 24, 25 horse, something like that. Cute little tractors. Guy's going to throw a little Marvel mystery oil in here. Don't know what's in it. It's a mystery, but maybe that'll help. Put my professional gas cap on. No, it's a soda can. Perfect. Now we need to rotate this old guy again and see if we can get the oil here out of the combustion chambers. And then we'll put the sparkulators back in at that point. We're kind of just poking along here. We'll probably do fuel last. We kind of got done what we needed to over there. I'm going to move this Johnny Popper block heater though. We don't want oil coming down the side of this engine here, dripping into that. Kaboof! This whole place could go up. So I'm going to move that over and get it out of the way. And then we'll work on ignition stuff, which I don't have any parts for. That's fine. Grab this with the meat mitt, drag on it. That'll work. That dually trim ring is working really good. Highly recommended. Cleaning the old boots off here. Trying to keep the feet dry. Neutralis check. Boys, get out of the way. Get over here. Spin it. See what we got. There we go. That's all that Marvel mystery oil coming out. I'm going to keep on rocking it here for a bit. Get it cleaned out. It's got good compression. Sounds pretty good. Spin it a little bit more here. Yeah, that'll probably do. Okay. I need some hand cleaner. I'm going to spray this down with some brake clean right next to the fire here. Clean up all this oil and stuff. This will dry faster. Get this all cleaned off. There we go. telling the boys to get their boots into the fire. It's a good opportunity. Keep them toes dry. It's getting pretty cold out here, gotta be honest. All right, gapped. Close enough. Throw these in here, and then we'll get our little inline spark tester. Tell us if we're getting sparkles or not. There we go. All right, and then the other one. Yeah, come on out. Got my gloves hanging here, drying up. Yeah. Takes a minute just to get that wood dry enough to bite.
Oh, the snow's starting to speed up again now.
Well, might as well get these sparkulators snugged up. About 97 foot-pounds. No, probably 99. Yep. Psst. No, but no seriousness. They got the crush washer. You got to crush them like this. Seat, or they're going to back out on you. You know. It's important a guy keeps hydrated. Even when it's cold out. They'll sneak up on you. Oh. My wobble pop's frozen. Got to bring that down. Or I guess up in temp. One of the directions. It's a lateral move. That's probably good enough. Got a little grease. A little more. Uh-oh. Panicking. I am panicking. I'm out. Okay, now what we're going to do is add now what we're going to do is add this in line. It's a sparkulator tester. It's got a little light bulb on it. You know, you've seen this before. And hopefully we have spark, but that's probably not going to be the case. Hopefully the coil's good. I don't know. Unless the old timer put points in this, is trying to get it running, or it's had points when it was parked a decade and a half ago. I'm sure we're going to have to dig in here and make some lightning happen, but I don't have any ignition points or parts, so this is going to be a little bit interesting. Well, we'll jam this in line, flip the switch on this tractor, which I'm assuming is the ignition switch, and see what we got here. Oh, you guys got that fire ripping. I can't see nothing. This isn't fitting correctly. What is happening with this thing? I think it's too long, is what's going on. My eyes are on fire. I've inhaled more smoke than Willie Nelson at this point. So here I've identified the sparkulator boots and the landing hoses is just a little too long anyways for this to work, so I'm going to snip out the old tree saw here. That's a front pocket find. And bring these down in stature a little bit. Yep. They're a little long in the tooth. They'll fit on the sparkulator better, and it's going to work better on my test machine. We'll burn that so it's more smoky. And probably do the same with this one. Yep. For some reason, Bentley's talking to me about chicken dumplings right now, to which I quickly agree. That does sound good. Yeah. Eyes falling out of my face. Okay, what was I doing? Sparkles. All right.
There's icicles on the ignition wires.
On, yeah. All right, watch for that light to go off there, okay?
Yep.
Negative. I didn't see it, did you?
No.
This is my surprise face. Ain't got no spark. So let's dig in. Start with the points probably. And go from there. So I got this little rinky test light thing. And it'll tell me if we got power. So we got power coming into lightning whirler. So now we'll crack this thing open, take a look at the points. Oh boy, those have been pocket knifed. They're there, but pretty scratched up. Same with this, look at that. Just been attacked with a butter knife. So that's good. More evidence I worked on this. Point should be under here. Oh yeah, see? Someone had replaced on them. Let's see if we can. I want to kick it over just a hair so I can rock it and open and close the points. So we'll just, there we go. So now, see, it should be sparking or snapping, and it's not. So I'll get in there with my file on the old Super Tool 300. Zip, 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 zip. Clean them up a little bit, and hopefully we get spark. Boy, this Russian heat wave is feeling really good. Starting to get some good coals down there. Bradley's starting another one. We didn't know we had 2 trim rings stacked together. He's starting another one over there. Keep our feet are just absolutely soaked all the way through, and our overalls. So we're going to try to keep warm around that one a little bit, and this one. Well, the guys got to get these points dolled up. I'll grab my point file here. Yes, sir. No, that's just a Leatherman, but listen, if it works, is it a dumb idea? Looks to be off. Nope. Well, off is on. Got a little zip there. So a guy's going to be working these points here. Bradley's got another fire going over there. The boys were getting cold. I think Bentley headed back to the house. Actually, speaking of which, is he still moving? Checking on him. Yeah, it's either him or a werewolf. Okay, so guy's going to start filing these points. You got to be careful here, especially if they're older points. You can file the pads right off. Just trying to work some new metal in on each side. And you don't want to get too overly aggressive here either, you know, because then you're going to have to come back in here and readjust them, which isn't a big deal. But flip the ignition back on, turn the cam, bam! We got sparkles there now. You can come look closer is what I'm saying here. You don't have to stand back there. Watching the snow come down, showing Brad. It's been a while since we've seen this stuff. I'll tell you that much. Right now. So now same exact test. But now we have spark there on the points or contacts. So now we'll reassemble this. I should put this on my glove dryer again. And then we'll test it with our little sparky doodabber to make sure we got spark all the way to the sparkulator. That's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, ideally, we'd warm the transmission up as well when it's this cold. Well, not really this cold. If it's negative 20, negative 30, just turns to basically honey. And it can do things. It's not easy on it. Guy could, if you get it fired up, roll it forward, let it sit under that for a while, or start another one or something. But okay, so now we could plug this back into here. Like so. And turn this on, which it already is because we just tested it. We got spark, Bradley. Knuckles. Okay, so now I'm gonna leave that in line for now so we could just keep an eye on it. I'll plug this guy in. We can go ahead and get the fuel line back on. The sediment bowl, which isn't perfect, but Probably good enough to get us out of the trees here. And I want to put a little bit of oil in it. Then we're going to go ahead and see if that fuel make it happener is going to work. Nope. And that'll be the next big battle. Hopefully that, I mean, chances are extremely slim, but somehow if this works, save us a bunch of time. I do have some miscellaneous gaskets and stuff from, just having old tractors, but nothing, I don't think I have an exact Marvel kit per se. Look at this. Beautiful fuel. Now, see if this gasket starts soaking. I don't know. Sure. Bradley's on a glove drying mission over here. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah. They look like they're coming along. A little wet on the cuffs yet, but.
Yeah. Palms are warm.
Yeah. Time to put oil in. What do we got? Enciete de motor. I don't know. Rolling around in the toolbox for a while. Doesn't matter what it is, it's better than whatever they made in 1952. So, I said it was a quart low. Look, that's barely pouring out. We'll go ahead and dump this in. And we are getting very close to firing this thing up. So, we juiced it down. It's spinning over great. We've put the starter in, starter cables, battery. We cleaned up the points, filed them. We've got spark, we verified that. We've got fresh fuel in it. Fuel line's clean, sediment bowl's clean. We could start to try to fire this thing now. We're to that point. As long as the fuel make it happen, is going to do something. But I have a feeling we're probably going to have to tear on that as well. Hard to tell what time it is, but I think we're going to be losing light here in probably about an hour, hour and a half. So hopefully we can get this thing running today. If not, we'll have to come back first light. But you staying warm?
Yeah.
Good. It's only going to get colder here. Let this just barely trickle in. We'll be firing this up here in a minute. Well, that's what we say anyway. All right. That only took 10 minutes. Got that in. I'm going to run over on the other side. Verify on the stick what we got going on. Might take a minute to get down into the pan. Pan's pretty hot though. It's getting warm to touch. Oh yeah, see?
Yeah.
Almost right to full. Okay. Nothing pouring out of the fuel make it happener yet. Hopefully the bowl filled, the needle is seating, and it's not spilling over. Have my gloves hanging on the clothes dryer there. Okay, you ready, bud? Should we just see what happens here? Ignition on. I don't know. Double check everything. I don't know if that oil pressure gauge works. We're not leaking any fuel. All right, watch out, son, just in case this wants to, for some reason, buck into gear. Ignition on. Got throttle down. We'll give her just a pinch. Oh, choke knob just broke off. Do we have any sort of choke? I don't think our choke is going to choke. I'll just manually do it. with throttle. These old tractors, they all have their secret ingredient to fire. And it might take us a little bit to find this one, and it doesn't help, it's so darn cold. Huh. Really, really don't like doing this, but it's gonna help me verify if we've got a carburetor problem. Brad, while I'm cranking this, just give it a huff.
Where?
Right in through here. And we're just gonna see if it bangs off, okay? Again. You got to hit it in the hole.
Kind of hard to aim it.
Okay, try it again. Okay. We got something else going on. Hopefully the timing is not out of whack. Hard on these wrist pins. Okay. Well, gotta try to figure out what's going on. Spark fuel compression. This nut was loose. That doesn't help us. Not saying that was the issue. Do we still have spark? What? It was just that loose wire. Yes! It's running. I'll be damned. I was just gonna check the spark again after I tightened the thing. That's what a Johnny Popper sounds like. Nothing sounds like a 2-cylinder Deere. Pretty cool, huh? Now we gotta get some antifreeze. Wow. It's got oil pressure. Well, remember all that marble Mr. oil we put in it? It's got an exhaust manifold leak. Good job, buddy. Thanks for all the help today. Bentley, too, he got a little cold. We sent him up to the house. Uh-oh. I killed the ignition there. This is cool. Wow. So cool. Okay, we need a bungee cord for the battery to hold, or a strap or something. Let's get some antifreeze. Air compressor to air the tires up. And then we're about ready to see if this thing will drive out of here, bud. Yeah. As long as the clutch works. Okay. All right. Well, I took the side-by-side, ran back to the barn and got some antifreeze. Well, I did that. Bradley went through our tractor junkyard, and was this off the orange Alice?
Yeah, it's the one like
up by the pond?
Yeah.
And this fits the red, so that's good. Did you happen to notice? We put antifreeze in that Alice, didn't we? Pretty sure we did. Okay. Here, you want to do this? I gotta warm up my hands. They're right over here. They about froze off. So, See if this radiator's gonna hold any antifreeze. These couplers over here, oh, see, we got this pitcock's open, so they did drain it. Oh, it's leaking right into the fire. Okay, keep going. Hopefully it'll hold. My whole goal here is drive this out of the tree row, which isn't going to be easy. We're going up a hill. We can't get out this way. We can't get out that way. We don't want to go through the cattle up there. So we got 2 ways to get out of here. And we got to go across the hayfield, way down around a fence, get to our place, go way down the driveway, go around the back road, go through the gravel, and get to the barn. And once we load it there, get it stored, then we could think about bringing it up to the main shop, and maybe we can mess around with this thing a little bit more. I mean, we clean it up. We got to change the oil. What's in it now is going to be good enough to get it there, but filtre, fix the ignition stuff, put some new boots on the coolant side, belt. I have no idea how it's going to steer. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't even know if the clutch works. Or brakes. We never got brakes. Okay, so let's fire it up again. See if we could let it run. You want to grab that ratchet strap out of the Deere side by side. Might have put it up on the seat. Let's see if this fires off again. Oil. We can let it sit and run, warm up. Let that, was it full?
Yeah.
Okay. Go over to the other side, I'll throw you this other side of the strap. Let this thing warm up a little bit. We're strapping the battery in right now with this ratchet strap. That's something else I gotta fix. I think I'm gonna go ahead and sacrifice this one. We don't have all this extra. Yes! Yeah! There we go. Man, we didn't even have to take the tins off this thing today. I feel really good about just letting this thing sit here and run for a while. It's been a long time. Says it's charging. Yeah, you can move the fire now if you want. Hey, be very careful. Be careful. You can toot that up a little bit so we can get warm. He's been working hard getting branches and little pieces of wood with that Sawzall. So we can get it really ripping now. Get some smoke in your eyes. Yeah. I don't see any leak around the coolant port on the back. Very small weep on the boot here. Well, I'll show you. Get over here. They ain't gonna bite you. A little bit of a weep here. That's in pretty bad shape. These are original clamps. Hopefully it holds. Sediment bowl looks great so far. Man, when you think about tractor, just this shape, all of us have drawn this tractor growing up. go. Draw me a tractor. Boom. There it is. Oh, you want to get the air compressor? We'll start putting some wind in these things. There it is, right on the bottom. This one might have air in it. So we're gonna add some air to all the tires. I'm gonna let the thing just sit here and run. It says it's charging. And we'll warm up a little bit. And I guess if I can get it out of here, if the clutch works, which we're gonna test next, I'll just have Bradley follow me and the other Deere and the Gator. See if we can work out of here. Might be a lot of spinning and steering with the brakes if the brakes work, which they won't. Always makes me curious, these old trucks, like how many hours does this have on it? If someone was using it as a mower, they owned it. Thousands, probably. 7,500, 10,000 hours. Listen to it run. It's just, it's mind-boggling. It's cliche, but they don't make nothing like they used to. Write it down. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and test the clutch on this thing. I'm gonna pull that seat off, let it in a dry spot to sit. Not that it matters, it's so cold out here, nothing's really melting. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. I can just sit on the 3-point. Basically, brushed all this off this morning, and it's already just full. Oh. Glove is full of snow. Okay, now. Whoops, hit the kill switch. There you go. Let's see if I remember my John Deere shift pattern. Let's see. I think first is in the middle. Yes! Oh, she's ready to go. Not a lot of right brake, got some left. Let's see. It should be reversed. Yep. Second. Let's see. That's second. That'd be first. Oh, it's so cool. I think we're ready to get out of here, bud. Let me, let's clean up a little bit. Keep this running. Head to the barn. Ugh. Not Sasquatch size. Getting ready to head out, so there you go. have to brake steer it to control the wheel spin. So if this tire is spinning, you just give it some brake and it'll kick it over to this side, and vice versa. But we're heading towards the barn. Running good, barely charging. I don't know if the temp gauge works. We got oil pressure, it's hard to see. A little bit of blow by, but that's normal. Completely normal. We're gonna try fourth gear. A little bit of a clutch slip. There we go. Oh yeah! Oh, okay, a little fast for the hayfield. Oh, we're plowing some snow. Ow, okay, bad idea. Let's bring her back down to third. There we go. Well, it made it all the way back to the barn. Now, let's see if the three, apparently it does. Even though, why is it? It was in the down position. Oh, it pushes down. Put some weight on that with your foot. There you go. Let's see if it lifts. Oh yeah. Nice, we got a 3-point. Okay, now I'm gonna jump on, I'm gonna try the PTO. Have to depress the clutch, swing the PTO on. Well, I can already see it turning lazy. I can hold it, but this thing should take off. If that works as well, we got a nice little tractor here. Although I don't know if the thermostat is not getting warm. But let's see if that works. All right, watch that shaft. Engage. Let's spice it up. Oh yeah! Yes! We got a PTO. There you have it. 1952 John Deere M, 72 years old, sitting for more than a decade, fired up, crawled itself out of a tree row, and roaded itself back to a barn where you can bet, now I'm going to put it to work. If you want to see more of this little M, there's lots to do. Make it reliable. Probably got to replace some gauges, make sure it's actually not heating up or we have any other issues. Go through the fluids, all of that stuff. I'd like to probably pull a hay rake with it or something like that. If you guys want to see that, let me know. But we got another one back home. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate you so much. We'll see you very soon.